Are we all good?
I'm just,
Yes.
I still don't like this light situation.
I think it looks fine.
It hurts my eyes, which is why, like, you'll see me keep changing it because it starts to bother my eyes again.
Like it's too bright in your eyes.
Yeah, it'll be too bright and then it's too dull. I don't know. My eyes are dumb.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
Well, thanks. I have light sensitive eyes.
Welcome to Just for Moms. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Kallie. We are regular moms
Talking about regular stuff like
aging, parenthood,
work-life balance,
and figuring out what's for dinner. Again.
A no judgment zone to talk, laugh,
and maybe cry about all the things women think about on a daily basis. All right, everyone, welcome back to episode 20. I am Kallie, and I'm here with Caitlin, Charlotte, and Megan every time. Will I ever? Is that everyone's name?
Yes.
Yeah,
No, it is,
right?
and you're like leaning into camera. I was like, this is great. It's like ASMR. Is she?
Is somebody new here?
Yeah, right.
I wanted to start today with us each sharing a beauty product that we've been loving. This randomly came into my head like 3 months ago, and I was like, when I'm in charge of one of the episodes, I'm going to do it. And then I just didn't. And so here we are. Caitlin, do you want to go first? Share a beauty product you've been loving?
Yeah, it's really hard because I have two, but I'm only going to talk about one.
Okay.
I brought them both though, so I'm going to close my eyes and pick one. Okay, this is it. I'm not even going to try to read it. It's basically a bronzer, this teeny tiny little bronzer drop. It's by that Drunk Elephant brand, which is the only thing I own this, but they're called anti-pollution sun drops. And you add it to your serum or your cream and it just gives you like this glow. And since I am so fair skinned and I need all the help I can get, it makes me look tan.
I've heard good stuff about it.
It's really good. It says that it has protective antioxidants and omega fatty acids, but I mean, it just makes me look tan. So I'm down.
I use their a tinted moisturizer, and I like it as well because the last tinted moisturizer I used was making me break out, and so the guy was like, this is actually more of a sunblock, but you might like it, and I do. So it must be in the same family.
Yeah, and I think you can add this to it. It has a list of anything that you can add it to. And it's brown. It looks gross, but like when you mix it in with a lot of stuff, it's great.
I love it. So Charlotte, what's yours?
I have discovered cleansing oils, which is sort of goes against everything I used to think of when it came to skincare, but I really liked it. I had one, I can't remember the brand name, but I haven't sort of found any that I dislike. I just sort of try them all on for size. But yeah, cleansing oil.
How does that work?
I mean, it's an oil and you put it on your skin, but I guess it just draws out the same way. I don't know. Like, what are other, how you use like WD-40 to like clean shit off your refrigerator? Have you heard that? Like, the oil just naturally, it cleans your skin without stripping it. Right. And I think my skin is this weird, like hypersensitive skin, but also I still break out. And so if I try to treat the breakouts, I think I sometimes just go too far. So the oil has been a nice soft alternative.
Does it have a residue when you're done washing your face?
No. So what I do is I put it on and then I'll wipe it off with just like a cotton thing. And then I have like a muslin, like baby blankets, that really soft cotton. I got like a 6-pack of just plain little muslin washcloths. And so I now use that to help like, because it's really soft. So I guess I'm scrubbing my skin, but because it's so soft, I'm not scrubbing it. And it's much lighter than a washcloth. So I'll do that last. And so I never feel like I have anything, like no oil left behind.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Cool. And it's not something you use in the shower, like as a wash. It's after.
I use it to clean my face. So I'll do that. And then I wipe it with the muslin. And then I'll put on whatever I'm in the mood for that night.
Yeah. No, let's go.
Yeah.
What's yours, Megan?
So I have here a lip mask. There's many different brands, kinds, and I apply it before I go to bed at night because I feel like my lips are always chapped all year round, and I'm putting on lip gloss, chapstick. So yeah, a lip mask before you go to bed at night is a game changer.
Do you find it works? I feel like I tried one once and it didn't do anything for me.
So, Kallie, that is a good question. I feel like this is again a Instagram Megan needs to try everything lip peel. and mouth tape.
It will not work with the mouth tape.
You're right. So
No.
you're right. I'm kind of over the mouth tape. We're on to the lip mask. Actually, two of the other people in my family took over the mouth tape. But you're right. Again, I'm getting like hooked into Instagram being like, use a lip mask. And now I'm like, use a lip. I don't even know if it works, but
Is it like just a thicker?
You're honest.
yes, it's a little tingly.
Oh, what's the tingle for?
I think because it's probably working better than a normal, I don't know, all day. But yeah, they say to apply it before bed.
Or like a mild allergic reaction. It's one or the other.
I mean, you could probably, let's be honest, you could probably just use Aquaphor A&D from your kid's diaper bag. But I am taking the, trying to be very chic and saying use the lip mask. So that's where
it's
we're
prettier.
at.
It's prettier.
It's pink,
A&D.
it's glossy, and you're glossing as you're sleeping, Yeah.
It's good. I like it. Okay, mine is a moisturizer. It is the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream. And I put this on everything. You can put it on your face. You can put it on your legs. I get very dry in the winter. And I found that I loved that I could just put it anywhere and it worked.
And you use it face. You've posted about it, right,
Yes,
Kallie?
I have posted about it multiple times. I bought it for my face. And then I realized that it was such a large tub and I could use it everywhere. And now I use it.
And it doesn't break out on your face.
No.
Okay.
I think it's literally designed for face and skin, which is, like in body, which is always weird to me. I'm like, it should be a different lotion for your face. It works. Let me tell you, it's not too thick on my face, but it still works on my legs. So I don't know the science and I don't need to know. Yeah. I just know that I like it.
Maybe they're using it on mice, but we never know.
We'll put all of these in our Amazon shop, guys. So go to our website.
Yeah.
We do. We have an Amazon shop and we will put our faves in there. Okay, let's move on to mom fails. Megan, do you have a mom fail for us?
Yes. Okay. Does this ever happen in your house? Because it happens in mine. I order many things from Amazon and you're rushing, you're tearing through the packages. Sometimes things come smaller than you expect. It's happened a lot lately where we were expecting something for one of my kids and I threw it out by accident because sometimes they come and there's all this like wrapping paper inside with it. And I don't realize that's in there with the vitamins and the mouthwash. So there was something that came and I threw it out by accident because, Amazon put all this like extra wrapping. So maybe they could stop putting that because it's bad for the environment too. So I don't know. That's my
There's no rhyme or reason when they mix and combine. It's not like every order it stays to itself. Like sometimes they throw them all together,
and sometimes they'll throw do you guys use Subscribe and Save?
Yes.
Yeah, and sometimes to me Subscribe and Save would be its own order, but like they'll throw in something that always throws me for a loop.
Same
when it's mixed with my Subscribe and Save.
Yes, you're right, Kallie. Yeah, so my mom fails throwing out items in a package without taking my time and looking.
Caitlin?
I fail every day. I was going to talk about just basically I have a once upon a child in my unfinished side because I can't give any clothes away right now. I just can't do it. They just all sit there.
Like mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went through that, Caitlin. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know what was helpful for me because I am a once upon a child shopper, which if you're not local, it's a consignment store, but it's not too cute. Like it's just, you can go and it's just racks and racks and racks. And I was the same way. And then I finally took a bin in. It's such a pain in the ass to have them go through they take forever. Half of the stuff you don't get. So for me, I did it once and it took a while and half of it didn't work. And then they were like, and you have $15 to spend or whatever it was. And so now I have found a couple of friends and I go through and I pull out the stuff that is stained or ripped and I just bring it all to them and they're happy to go through it. And if they don't like some of it, I don't care what they do with it. But that was so liberating for me, not to offload the let's make some money and do something from it. Cause it was never happening.
Well, yeah, I gave up on it. Like I used to do it all the time, but my problem right now is there's just, because of the age gap in my children, I'm holding on to things from my older children for my youngest.
Yes.
And I'm afraid to get rid of it. There's just too many containers and I'm the only one who can organize it. And it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can't ever find anything. That's the problem. My kids were like, we need a bathing suit. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah. And when you go to that store too, it's all by color, right, Charlotte?
It's by age.
Oh, by age. For some reason, I thought it was color. Okay. There's another new one that opened here in Norwalk. I meant to ask you if you tried it. It's going to
I haven't been there yet.
It just opened. It's adults and kids consignment, and they're all over. Why can't I think of the name? It's like a new.
I love consignment shops.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to bother me. I'm going to text. It's right near where I get bagels. I'm going to text you the name. I figured you had been to it.
Well, and I guess Once Upon a Child is maybe technically not consignment. They just buy it, right? And so that it means that they can work in
just
bulk.
Used. Yeah.
Yeah. A little better, because I don't care if it's from Target or, I mean, they even sell like Walmart stuff. I want to go to one store and get a bunch of stuff for cheap.
They have some really good stuff.
Yeah, they have good stuff.
Charlotte, do you have a mom fail?
My mom fail is yes. Do you guys at your schools have something called like One Book, One School or something like that? Okay, we do too. And this semester, it's a book we've read. And it's a great book, but we've read it. And so I'm not super motivated to like reread it. The kids don't seem to give a shit. Nobody seems to care, and they kind of know enough to be able to answer the weekly question. So we're just not doing it. I don't know if the expectation is that we do it. I don't know. We're not on it. So that's our fail.
Right.
I mean, you guys read it, whatever.
Yeah.
My mom fail, it's even a mom fail, it's just like a human being fail or whatever. When we moved Opal out of our bedroom, we had bought the house when I was pregnant with Opal, so I never had decorated. So I was like, I'm gonna give it a little refresh. Like bought a rug. It was literally just a bed in a room. So I bought a rug and a dresser, and I like made it cutesy with some art, and I bought 2 nightstands. But my fail is I have still not put the nightstands together. Because I peeked inside the box. This is months. It's been months. Peeked inside the box, and it's everything is its own piece, and it's got drawers. And I don't know that it'll ever happen. I'm not sure.
Can you return them?
So, no, I mean I want them.
Is Michael
Yeah.
handy?
I should TaskRabbit it, but I like to combine TaskRabbit with some waiting. Michael is very handy when it's not instructions. Like I'm the person that if it's a following instructions thing, he's the kind of person like if an issue has happened and there's not instructions, like I would give up. I'd be like, oh, it's broken. Like he will spend hours fixing it. So I've always been the instruction following put together person. So it's on me, or
maybe there's a kid in the neighborhood that could do it for you or something. I don't know.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think of that. Hire it out to some child labor. Great. All right, let's dive into today's topic, which is convenience illusion. I wanted to talk about this. This is something that keeps like coming up in my personal life, and I've been thinking about a lot lately, and so I wanted to chat with you guys about it. So if you don't know what convenience illusion is, I'll read the definition to you. So convenience illusion refers to the perception that a convenient feature or technology actually provides more convenience than it really does. So even when it might be causing inconvenience or harm in the long run. So something that appears to be convenient, but really is just taking us more time than it really offers us. So my first question is to ask you guys something that you can think of in your life that is meant to be more convenient, but really requires more work on your end. I'll start with Caitlin.
Diaper Genie. We don't use them anymore, but I had them with all of my kids, and I needed to have them because it sounded so convenient. It always feels convenient when you're getting ready for that next baby, but they always break. It always smells like a dead squirrel inside of it, no matter what, even if there's no diapers inside.
Fair enough. Megan?
Our fridge and freezer that we have right now, and it's probably just the brand itself. It is maybe 3 years old, and as much as it should be a convenience to us. We've had issues with the ice so many times, the ice maker itself, the door being magnet shut has broken. So like one of my kids left the door open in the middle of the night and all the food went bad. So it's supposed to be a convenience, this fridge that we got that's new. But the past 3 years, it has been an inconvenience on how many times someone has to come out to repair it and fix it and repair it. And then, yeah. So for me, that's I don't,
Yes.
if that's what
They
you're
add all
looking
these.
for, that's
Yeah.
what I,
No.
it's, and
It is,
yeah,
yes. It's like the old appliances. People always joke, like,
correct.
you have that, like, your parents have that refrigerator in their garage from 1950 that's still working, and ours are like Wi-Fi connected and like can't keep food
Come
Yeah,
cook,
cold.
come
yeah,
cook
and
in my oven. I think it's from 1994. My oven, my
it's
whole
probably
thing. Oh
amazing,
yeah,
right?
it's great. It's ugly as
Yeah.
all hell, but
Yeah. And then Callie, I had to buy at times when the ice maker is broken, the like we used to have the ice that you'd have to put in the freezer and fill up in the sink. And then I had to buy an ice. I remember I was on Instagram asking people their recommendations for, ice machines. And I had no, it was actually a big thing on the counter for a little bit. So it's just, an up and down of.
Absolutely.
I have two. The more general one is sort of anything that has to do with car technology. There's so much on a car dashboard that I don't use most of it. More specifically, and I think we can all agree that there's just a lot of apps floating around there. We have an app that is meant to track our kids' bus so that you know where it is. And in theory, that's great, but it just doesn't always work. So like if you're used to using it and then it doesn't, then you have no idea where the bus is, and it's usually timely but not always. So that's been a moving target as far as whether it makes life easier.
We have one for our town too, Charlotte, and I just stopped going on it because it never updates.
Mine is my wet dry mop vacuum. Do you know what I'm talking
Yes.
about?
Yes.
Okay, this is a product that I've talked about for years. Like, I love it. I've raved about it on my socials, on my YouTube. So I am admitting my wrong here. It got left in Michael's office by accident because he had taken it up there to clean something, and it's just like his office just far enough away that like I couldn't quickly grab it. And so after like 2 or 3 days, I was like, I need to clean the floors. And so I just grabbed the broom that like is on the other side of the basement door, and I like swept really quick, and then I just like grabbed the mop and I mopped really quick. And I was like, wait, why was this easier? Like, I realized that it was easier to just use that because when I thought about my wet dry vac mop thing or whatever, I'm like, I have to like clean it out every time I'm done using it. And it's got all these pieces, and then I have to let it dry or it smells, and it doesn't actually like get into some of the corners, and I still like have to sweep in the corners. And I just like had this like aha moment that I was like, I bought this thing that's supposed to make cleaning my floors easier, but it actually was far more time consuming. And it was, I don't know, it was a moment of like, wait a minute. I've been using this thing, and like, I mean, but I convinced myself, I've been convinced that it was making my life so much easier, but it really wasn't. The other one that gets me is definitely apps too. I mean, there's so many apps. The other day I was just trying to message my kid's teacher on the app, and every time I clicked it, like it popped back up and the text cursor kept moving. And I was like, I could have literally just called her or like just talked to her when I picked up, so much faster than the 10 minutes I just like fought with this app thing. So
The Shake Shack app never works for me, to the point where I've like gone to their IT support and they're like, give me the version and I always am like, how can it be only me? Because then you look on Reddit and there's no one complaining about it. And so I will, every time we go to order Shake Shack, because it doesn't give my husband the same issue, I will spend 15 minutes like logging in through every email I can think of, creating new accounts with different emails. And if I had just gone into the restaurant and
Yes.
ordered, it'd be
so
fine.
much faster.
Yeah. All these apps, like I'm sure you all go through this, every child that plays on a different team has a different app. And for dance, there's an app. And for the doctors, there's an app now. I'm like, I have no room on my phone. Like, no. Like, like I brought Ava to a new doctor because she's been doing physical therapy. And they're like, in order to check in, you need to download the app first. I'm like, I don't have any room. I apologize. So I can't check it.
I also don't know which app is which. So I think I have 8 sports apps on my phone because the football uses different from basketball, is different from lacrosse. And so I'll go to check the schedule and I'm like, I have to go through all of them to be like, oh, right, this is the middle school black 6th grade soccer team. Great.
Really, side note, it just started downpouring here.
Oh, I can hear it.
Okay, so I'm reading Stolen Focus, which is by Johann Hari, and he is exploring why he thinks it is that we struggle with concentration, why it's been getting harder and harder for us to concentrate. And one of the key ideas that he has been mentioning is how convenience tools are tricking us into thinking that we're saving time, but they're actually draining our attention. And in the book, he calls this the switch cost effect. And it's the idea that your brain isn't like a light switch and it can't just snap back and forth when you stop one task. So your brain actually continues to linger on the previous task for a little while. And the fancy term for that, lingering, is called attention residue. And they say that if you're switching back and forth between tasks, it can take 20 to 25 minutes to actually re-enter that deep focus state. And so I was thinking about the things that promise us convenience, and they offer them to us saying that usually it's going to make things faster for us, but in reality, they're usually quietly taxing our brains and instead leaving us more scattered and more mentally fatigued. So I want to ask you guys if you notice any things in your life where this task switching that claims to be multitasking or making your life more productive or faster is actually hurting your focus or making your life less convenient.
I guess what comes up for me when you say that is I have a hard time, like the last couple of months, I'm doing physical therapy for my back and I'm trying to get the puppy out for a walk. So I've had, unlike past times in my life when I wake up and I just have sort of a day ahead of me to get through the jobs that I need to do, it's sort of broken up. And then there might be a podcast recording. Like there's just other things that are interrupting my day. And I've found that my productivity is just different. Like I'm not getting into tasks that I would normally get into because I know that I have limited time. And that's sort of the opposite of what you are asking. Because there's other times when if I'm in like flow, I can bop between like quickly checking email and then going back to my workshop to do something. But I think that's sort of how I work. So if I know that I have 2 hours, it's then easier to bounce around. I have a harder time when I know I have an interrupted day, like getting into any one thing because I know that my focus will be pulled. So that, I mean, that's what came up for me. That's not exactly what you asked, but.
No, that makes sense.
I agree with that. I'm the same exact way. The days when I like have this, like a Tuesday, nothing's happening because I'm just thinking about how I have to do this. But I would just, as you keep talking about apps, what's the big starlight thing that the calendar that's like this digital thing that people get? Skylight. Okay. So that is one of those cool pieces of technology that I look at and I'm like, I really, really think I would love this. And then I look at it again and I look at my handwritten calendar in the kitchen and I'm like, nope, I just need that calendar in the kitchen. Because the second I bring some kind of technology in the house that everyone's going to need to use, and then next thing you know, it's not going to sync to my husband's phone and it's not going to sync to my kid's iPad, then what was the point of bringing this in the house? You know, that drives me nuts.
No, you're right, Caitlin. And then there's one too. I go to friends' houses and there's one on a iPad that like sits on their kitchen counter,
Mhm.
right? I don't know what the name for that is, but I've seen those too. And for me, I feel like I guess it all syncs, but at the end of the day, it's just easier to have it for our house too, just on our phones. And then I feel like my kids, because my email's connected, and you know how the cloud works and everything, like Nico can go on his iPad, I believe, because he has Joe's email connected, if this all makes sense. So he can like go on the calendar and see what's going on for that day too.
Yeah. Well, when the parent, whoever the parent is, the kid kind of like falls underneath it.
Yeah. No. I'm with you on that. I feel like it's again social media and society trying to make things easier, but at the end of the day, those are not for
No,
me at our house.
do you guys have Parent Square? Is that what it's called for
Yes.
school?
No, what's that?
It's the app that the school uses where it's both my kids' schools are under it, and it's like there's the schools, then there's the students, then there's the groups, and this is where all the notifications come in. But then you also get an email, and so if I click the email and then open the app, it's like I'll get in there and see something else and start reading it and forget why I went in there in the first place. So I can't even open the app anymore. I just stick to the emails that come through Parent Square because I get lost in the app every time I open it. There's just it's so disorganized.
Or I feel like an old lady because sometimes, and I don't know if you all experience this, when you're going to make like your beauty appointments, like where you go for like your hair, they have an app too. And sometimes I try to log on and my password's not working. And because there was like a breach and someone broke in their system and now you got to change the password. And I just pick up the phone and call. And I feel like they might get annoyed with me that I call, but I'm just like, sometimes with the email to the app and you got to change your password and then it glitches. And yeah, sometimes I just pick up the phone and call because the app is not helping me out.
I think those organizational apps are a really good example of what you're talking about, Kallie, because their purpose is right there to be more organized. But for me, I find that organization is so personal that, I've been in groups or I've worked with friends that are like, I use whatever, Asana or whatever. And if it's not intuitive or if it doesn't fit your workflow, then like I'm just not going to get into it. So it defeats the purpose. And I'm still going to have my little checklist in my journal or whatever I do. And I'm never going to sort of buy into it. So then I'm doing 2x the work. And I don't know, I wonder if it's a sign of age where we're not, like, I definitely have like a grouchy old sort of disgruntled lady living inside me where it's like new technology. I'm not going to do this. But I definitely we have a shared Apple Calendar that is a godsend because it's the only way that we would know what end is up with all of the kids. So that's like we definitely use technology a lot, but there's that funny tipping point between this is really convenient and the topic of the podcast, which is this is a pain in the neck.
The last part that I wanted to talk about when I think about convenience tools, and one that has sort of been a thorn in my side when I think about them a lot, is that I think even though they're claiming to make our lives easier, they kind of put pressure on us to be like even more productive, sort of to your point about the organization tools, or even find like some of the apps that are for our kids stuff. Like it's supposed to make it easier and it's supposed to make us more productive with our time. But I find that it also is making it so that we always have to be on. Like we could be sitting in bed and be like wondering about, I don't know, something from maybe one of the apps, and we can literally just pick it up and do it right away. So it's like we're never also, because of this convenience, we're never allowed to like turn any of these like 8 million hats that we wear off. And I think about that a lot with a lot of these convenience tools now, how it's like you're not really ever, they're supposed to be making our lives easier, but we're sort of just becoming like slaves to them in some ways.
Right. Like
Yeah.
every activity we do is live streamed. So you can't, like if you have a conflict, it's not as simple as like, tell me how you did when you're done. I can't make it. It's like, God, now I have to like figure out how to log into some app for the live stream.
Or how about like our kids? One of my friends was talking about this with how our kids, even at school and then coming home with assignments, everything's on an app, on an iPad. What happened to like pen, like piece of paper and pencil? Do you like it's crazy how like a lot of stuff our kids are doing now is all on a computer or an app. There's no more papers anymore, which is kind of crazy. And I feel like it would be nice for them maybe to have a break from the screens.
Did I talk about this on the podcast? I had to like rage against the machine a little bit with one of my kids at school. And I think I probably did, but everything is like live on whatever app they use for grading and whatnot. But I'm not going to be monitoring that on a day-to-day basis because first of all, I have a bunch of kids. And also I feel like this is a relationship between my kids and their school. So I will check in with them. Have you done your homework? Like, I'm not just ignoring them, but I'm also not going to go in and like see what their Spanish assignment was today because they're old enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went in, I had one kid that had a little bit of a lapse in grades. I found out that this child hadn't turned in an assignment for one class for like 2 months. And I brought this up to the teacher and I was pissed because I was like, when were you going to call? Like, these are still children. Our job is to teach them. And the teacher's response was, well, it's live grading. You need to be in there. And I was like, with all due respect, like, we've got to find a happy medium here. Like, clearly I'm not in there.
To sign in there every day.
So that my oldest is going to 6th grade next year, and at her end of the year conference for 5th grade, the teacher went through like some tips from going to middle school, and one of them was you're going to have full-time access to live grading on the Parent Square app. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, I'm telling you right now to pick one day, maybe every 2 weeks or a month that you look at it. She goes, because you're going to become obsessed with looking at your child's grades every single day. It's almost going to become a subconscious, pop it open and see what your kid got on X, Y, and Z. She said, and a lot of teachers only grade on Sundays, or they only enter their grades every other Wednesday. She said, so this sounds really nice that you can look at your kids' grades, but at the same time, don't do it. It's just like just get away from it. But to your point, Charlotte, as a former teacher, if a student hasn't turned something in, and it's my responsibility to say to the child, you need to turn this in or it's going to be a 0. And it's also my responsibility as the teacher to send a note home to the parents. Hey, just a heads up, your kid still hasn't turned in their book report. Maybe it's left on the dining room table or it fell out in your car. Do you know where it is? But like, I'm not expecting the parents to keep track of their kids' stuff because the parents have enough going on.
Right.
We have that in our town too. It's called Power School, and kids are logging on, and after they take a test, they'll log on like 2 minutes later, like the grade's already going to be up, and it's causing a lot of like anxiety and stress. And obviously the grade is not going to be put up right away. And I check it here and there, probably not nearly as much as most parents do. I mean, it's great it's there to have that tool, but I don't check it by any means every week. And yeah, and to reiterate on everyone's point, if it's even a month, I feel like the teacher should just send a quick note. Hey, I don't know if you knew this, but they haven't, because that gets lost in the shuffle. And who's to say too, like that I don't know, maybe you don't even go on a computer, Charlotte. There's some people that don't use technology too. You never know, right?
Yeah. I mean, even I told you guys that Michael has a dumb phone, and that was even like a thing, having to get over all of the things that you're supposed to have an app for. Like we couldn't sign our kids into school because he had a smartphone. And luckily our school we just explained to him that he had a dumb phone and he drops the kids off, and so they were totally cool about it. But it's weird how many things like you can't do without the apps too, which is kind of frustrating.
Yeah. Like you can't sign up, like you were saying, Kallie, you can't sign up your kids for school without going online. You can't bring in paperwork anymore. It's all online. You have to do it.
I know. I tried to sign the kids up for swim, and I like went up to the front desk and I was like, hey, I want to sign up. And they're like, you can only do that on the app. Like, I can't just talk to a human being, and sign up anymore. Okay, so I want to jump into the guest interview part of this. Why can't I think of this episode? Thank you. I was going to say of this podcast, and I was like, that is not the word I want. Of this episode. So I was able to sit down with Dr. Emma Seppälä. She's the author of The Happiness Track, and her newest book is called Sovereign: Reclaim Your Freedom, Energy, and Power in a Time of Distraction. She's a leading expert on happiness and emotional well-being. Her work has been featured on the New York Times, ABC News, Good Morning America. She was a TEDx speaker. So I caught up with her to chat about how chasing convenience and constant productivity may actually be making us less happy. So we will dive into that conversation now. Emma, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so glad to have you on the podcast.
It's so fun to be here, Kallie.
I know. I'm so excited. So, as I kind of told you before we jumped in that episode that you were joining us for, the girls and I were talking about convenience illusion, which is a topic that I love. Specifically, we were talking about all of the tools and apps in our lives that have been sold to us as something that is going to save us time, but in fact, they usually do the opposite, and how the overabundance of these things tend to just put us in a state of like constantly multitasking and constantly being turned on and feeling like we need to be turned on. And it made me think about a quote from your book, Sovereign, which I have right here, which everybody should definitely get and read. But you said, we live in a society that profits from our disconnection. So your research shows that productivity often comes when we're in a calm and present state, yet so much of our modern life is pushing us to chase constant efficiency. So how do you think this always on mindset is affecting our actual well-being?
Well, the always on mindset and all of the media that's coming at us. So we know we take in over 60,000 gigabytes of information every day. And this is an older statistic. It's about 7 years old. I don't even want to know what it is now. That's enough to crash a small computer in a week. If you think about it, we're taking all that in. And what we're actually doing most of the time, especially if we're chasing efficiency or we're chasing the next like thing that we need to do or get through, we're actually tapping into our fight or flight, so the stress response. And it's stressful to be constantly agitated by this, that, the other that's going on, or getting pinged, and and then we find ourselves not reacting the way we want to people because we're actually in a stress response and we don't even realize it.
Yeah, it's actually so funny you said that. I have a part marked in the book, and it literally is where you say most people don't realize it, but we are getting 60,000. That's literally the quote from your book that I pulled out, was how you talked about the 60,000 gigabytes. Um, but I totally relate to what you say. Actually, we were just talking about a YouTube video that I just uploaded, and I was talking about how sometimes I feel like I'm in this fight or flight state of, it's sort of a weird balance. I think there's so much on our to-do list. And then, like you said, we're constantly getting pinged and we're constantly getting just so much information.
Yes.
And again, going back to the convenience illusion, a lot of it is trying to be sold to us as making our life easier. But instead, I mean, to your point, it's just completely stressing us out.
Yeah, and when you look at research on when we're happiest, so they looked at, oftentimes our mind is not in the present moment, right? We're either thinking about something that happened or thinking about something that's going to happen or that we need to do. But what research shows is that we're never happier than when we're right here, right now in the present moment. Because if you think about it, when your mind's in the past, a lot of the time it's in regret or anger. Anger's a mind that's in the past, right? Or when it's in the future, stress, anxiety, fear. Yes, there can be positive emotions too, but it's mostly the negative ones. And then, those moments when you're totally in the present moment because you're with your child and it's this magical moment, or you're in nature and you're just like, I'm on a hike and I'm with the trees and I'm feeling in the present moment. That's when we're happiest. And research shows that we're happiest when we're in the present moment, even if we're doing something we don't like the dishes. But there's something, and what all these things are doing is they're pulling us out of the present moment. And then we're wondering why we're not feeling well. And so the trick is, let's get our mind back into the here and now, which is so challenging in these times, but it is so key to be able to have that emotional sovereignty, that ability to stay calm and enjoy and be with what is.
I love how you said that we're happiest present even if we're doing something we don't enjoy, because I can totally relate to that. Like when I force myself to turn everything off, to put the distractions away, I can be doing something and I can be like, I feel bored doing this, or this is not enjoyable. But that is when I feel the most calm. It's when I feel the most present, even if I'm not enjoying the task that I'm at. So, my last question for you is for those people who can relate. I'm sure most people can relate to what we're saying, but for those people who this is really resonating with, but are feeling a little bit trapped by the digital demands, because I think one of the biggest problems is modern society has made us feel like we have to have all of these things. What would you say is like one step that somebody could take to sort of regain that sense of sovereignty over their time and their attention?
If you're unable to put away the Slack or the different apps that you have, there is one way you can train your mind to be more present. And so I always recommend meditation. And I know for some people meditation might seem like, oh my gosh, that's hard, I've tried it doesn't work for me. But I urge you to find the shoe that fits. There are many forms of meditation. I have a favorite app that I use every day called Sattva. It's Sattva. It's totally free. And when you're meditating, you're training your mind to be in the present so that when you are, in the middle of the marketplace and there's apps being thrown at you constantly, you still have that awareness of like, here I am. I've got 3 different apps pinging me and I am aware. I am aware. I am not ensnared. I am not hooked in. I am not caught in them. Does that make sense? Because sometimes we have to use those apps, but being aware keeps you sovereign.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean, because I can feel the same way about apps. And I feel like just sometimes stepping back and even being like, I mean, some of the apps, yes, we do need them, but even just saying like, this doesn't need to be taken care of right now. I think we have gotten into this mindset because these smartphones are in our pocket that everything needs to be tended to right now. And I've played around with like putting my phone away and like not touching it for 12 hours and then coming back. And I'm like, everything that was here did not need me right this moment. But we get kind of caught up into this mindset of thinking that we do.
Yes, it's a trap. It's a form of kind of enslavement if you think about it, And we can pull ourselves back out of that bondage. We can pull ourselves back out with that awareness. And one more thing I want to share about the present moment is that if you look at who the most creative people on earth are, it's our children, right? Children that have not been put on a screen yet, who are maybe under the age of 8 or 10. They're so creative. And they come up with solutions. And what we're looking for in our life is solutions to the issues in our life. And when do we come up with our best solutions? People will be like, oh, it's in the shower, or, I'm driving. That's because your mind is in the present and you're calm. But if you're constantly watching something, listening to something, taking in information, you're depriving yourself of being in that state, which, although people might think it's idleness, is actually when your brain is in active problem-solving mode. It's when it's receptive to ideas, to new creative ideas, to solutions to problems. So the more you can disentangle yourself and become more present, do meditation, unplug, etc., you're actually tapping into your innovative genius. And I feel like that's one of the untapped sort of treasures in our life that we forget that we have access to.
I love that. That is a great spot to end on. And I feel like it's great motivation to sort of distance, to give yourself that space and sort of distance yourself from some of those things that may be consuming your time a little bit more. When you stop, because there's such an easy distraction and obviously very addictive, but when you have that sort of motivation, that thing reminding you to come back, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, I know for myself, I've written 2 books and, they've come to me entirely in those moments. And it's like, wow, if I had not allowed myself to have those, I wouldn't have had the ideas. So I wish for everyone to be able to have that access to their own creative, innovative sort of insight.
Emma, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kallie. It was fun.
All right, guys, it is time when we share our pits and peaks of the week. Megan, do you want to go first? Do you have a pit or a peak for us?
Okay, I have a pit and a peak. Okay. So I'm going to put this on and show you guys this awful pit.
Oh.
You know those like ads on Instagram, right? That you think you're like buying like really nice clothes from?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I did not order this. Joe ordered it. Okay. So this came in and okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
I mean, it looks fine, sadly.
Real? Oh, I think you got to see it in
Wait,
person.
it's for Joe.
Okay.
It doesn't look
It's
that
for
great.
you or for
I don't
Joe?
know.
For Joe. He ordered it. Okay.
No, it looks
I just
pretty
thought
fake.
I thought it
Yeah.
was kind of funny to share. Okay.
Yeah.
So we ordered from one of those apps that was like Bloomingdale's knockoff. He ordered shoes, a pea coat. This came in, right? And he put it on and we were all kind of like you can't wear that, right? Like,
Yeah.
no. It
looks like a Top Gun jacket,
I love,
but not Top Gun.
yes. Okay. So then yesterday it was his birthday. So we wrapped it and gave it to him again. So that's my pit and my peak. So now I think I might wrap it and give it to Charlotte as a belated.
You should
birthday
know. You should
gift.
just keep
give it to
doing
Joe
it.
every
Give
year.
it to him at Christmas. Give it to him for Father's Day.
Yes, but I said to my family last night, I'm like, Eric's birthday is coming up, like our cousin. Let's wrap it and give it to him. And then it could be like a family funny, like joke thing where everyone kind of like wraps it and sends it around. But apparently I'm going to send it to Charlotte because she didn't think it was sad.
Great.
So it's a pit and a peak. I just had to share that. I thought it was really funny.
I love it.
Yeah, I made that mistake once and I ordered something it was like a pair of clog boots or something on Instagram and they looked so cute in the picture. They might as well have been like a cardboard cutout of boots. They were so far removed from the picture. And so now it's like, fool me once, shame on me. Never again.
I love it.
Charlotte, you want to share your pit or peak?
My peak, I'm giving a preemptive peak because I have confidence that this is going to be super fun. I am going to Brimfield next week with some girlfriends. And the only time I've ever been this is not meant to be a humble brag. It's just meant to point out that I've actually been there, but I haven't. I filmed an episode of Flea Market Flip 100 years ago and we filmed it at Brimfield. So for the 4 hours that I was there, I was like running around with a boom mic and like not paying attention. So I've never been and I'm excited to go with girlfriends. It could not be a more inconvenient week for me to go, but I'm doing it.
I love that.
That's so fun. I can't wait to see your videos because I know you're going to find so many treasures.
Yeah, nothing I need, but I will get them.
Caitlin?
So it is kind of far off, but I guess it's a peak. My second dance recital is going to be coming up in June, and for me, and it's in my daughter's dance recital, obviously, but because last year all the adults, there's 3 shows for our dance studio, like a morning show, afternoon show, and an evening show, because there's just so many classes. And last year all the adults were like, oh, we wish we got to do that twice instead of once. So I get to do it twice this year, and I'm excited.
That's fun.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Now I feel bad that I'm ending because mine's a pit. I always hate when we end on a pit, but I've just been having the past like 2 or 3 days, I've just been feeling like spread too thinly with my children, like everybody needing me at a single moment, which it doesn't happen a ton. Like I really truly, when people ask, I'm like, I find 4 kids easier than 2. I mean, the dynamic of it, I really do. But there are moments like this, like 2 kids were sick, and I just hate those. You know, sometimes it'll happen for a half hour or whatever, but I just feel like it's been a couple of days where it's like I can literally not get to everybody who needs me. And that's always like a shitty feeling. So it's my pit.
Do you guys have the moments as parents, and we can wrap it up? Like most of the time, I feel like I'm doing a fine job. Like I feel like I'm doing a good job. And then every once in a while, I have a glimmer of like, whoa, I have missed every ball there is to miss. Like I'm just I'm not connecting. I'm in my phone too much. I'm not playing games. Like they came home from school. I'm like, I just have a moment of like, maybe I'm not doing this well.
No, I feel like that.
Yeah.
I actually said it the other day. I said, I think I've been disassociating too much. Like I couldn't handle my middle child's big issues. And my oldest was like having a moment, and then the youngest, and it's like I shut myself off for a couple days. And then when I came back, I was like, oh, I feel kind of bad I did that. But I had to. I was protecting myself. Like I couldn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Charlotte. Nico always wants me to watch the Knicks games with him. And I would love to sit there and watch the Knicks game and just sit on the couch. But then who's going to make dinner? Who's going to clean up the kitchen after it's done? Who's going to put the laundry away? Who's going to make the beds? Because no one else really does it. I mean, I wish I had the Charlotte power where I'm like, do it on your own. But it's like, I'm like, buddy, like, I wish I could sit there like you and dad do it. But mommy's got chores to do. And I feel guilty because he's like, you never want to sit with me and watch it. I just, you know, and like I need to, but it's just like then there's the mess, and I should just like leave the mess for him, but it's hard to.
Yeah, I have these moments where it's not even like it's been a bad week. It's like nothing's any different, but it's like maybe that's the way I've been parenting for the last 16 years. Like maybe that isn't the answer, and like now I've just blown it for 16 years. Huh.
No.
Don't doubt yourself.
No. Yeah.
Well, it started downpouring again at my house.
Okay.
So I guess it's time to wrap it up here. Just been recording this podcast in a downpour.
An arc.
So,
It's okay.
So, thanks for tuning in. Leave us a review, follow us, send us pigeon mail. I don't know, do all the things that people do. But don't do it in a way that's inconvenient for you.
That's right. We don't have an app, guys. We don't have an app.
There's no apps.
Remember when you used to be able to mail fan mail? You don't do that anymore.
Oh,
No.
We could get a PO box and make it happen.
We could.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
The things I plan, the things I